Thank you.
Good evening. Welcome to the Lacey Township Caucus meeting, November 13, 2014. Adequate notice of this meeting has been given in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act pursuant to Public Laws 1975. Said notice was advertised in the Lacey Beacon and was posted on the bulletin board showing the time and the place of the meeting. We're going to begin with a salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have a special presentation tonight for Michael Davenport III, an Eagle Scout recipient. Veronica, you want to read the proclamation?
Michael, why don't you step up to the microphone here? I won't make you speak yet. Whereas the rank of Eagle Scout is one of the highest honors the members of the Boy Scout of America can receive, and whereas only 4% of all Boy Scouts receive this honor, and whereas in order for Michael Allen Davenport III to receive this rank, he built a kiosk at the entryway of the Cloverdale County Park in Barnegat, and whereas Michael received monetary donations and contributions from Lowe's Home Improvement Center and Builders General. Whereas Michael Davenport, with the help of Troop 30, family, and friends, donated approximately 21 hours to complete the project. Whereas his efforts have been cited by the President of the United States, the Governor of the State of New Jersey, the State Senate, the General Assembly, and the Ocean County Board of Chosen Freeholders. And whereas the Mayor and Township Committee wish to commend and congratulate Michael on receiving this high honor. And whereas the Mayor and Township Committee would like this accomplishment and dedication of this young individual to be an example for all those involved in scouting and thank him for a project well done. Now, therefore, I'm Gary Quinn, Mayor of the Township of Lacey, on behalf of myself and the Township Committee, honor Michael Davenport III for his outstanding accomplishments and encourage other scouts to follow in his example. Yeah, well,
We've seen enough Eagle Scouts on Troop Leader, how hard it is to reach this level of scouting.
If I read it before, I would have caught it earlier. I assume the staff did it right.
Your dad's the one camera video pictures. Your dad and your family. So a lot of times those people are scouts. It's not just I'm sure you thank you. I won't put you on the spot, but if you want to say a few words, you said.
She said everything.
I say everything. Gary,
Yeah.
I need to have that back. I have to make a correction in that, and I'll mail you one, okay? Thank
Let
you.
me take a picture with you.
Okay.
You ain't come for nothing. Right. Dad, you want to be in a picture? We're good. All right. Best of luck to you. Thanks for coming back.
I'll mail you a corrected one. How's that sound? He can have that one. I'll mail him a corrected one. There's a typo.
All right. Thank you. I know we have a lot of scout dropouts up here. Anyone want to say a few words? Mark?
Yeah. Once again, it amazes me how many Eagle Scouts, what a great scouting program we have in this township. Your dad, obviously, I see the look in his eyes, he's so proud of you, and we're proud of you. Thank you very much for showing the good in Lacey Township. And I know you'll be a success in the future, and forget about shooting for this, shoot for much higher. Thanks very much.
Peter?
You know what they say, with scouting, you have a lot to be proud of, and you left a legacy. I know from being a scout many, many years ago that the Cub Scouts, the Weblos, they're all looking up to you for leadership. And the great thing about scouting is the fact that it gives a young man a moral compass. I think that counts, and you're going to carry that for the rest of your life. You're going to be a leader. People will look up to you, and you're going to be an example, like I'm sure you are right now. So congratulations, you earned it.
Steve?
Yeah, Eagle Scouts tend to be mature, focused, and have great leadership qualities. Qualities I'm sure you possess. Congratulations.
And Dave?
Yeah, I had talked to Michael earlier and his father, and I was saying how Eagle Scouts really prepare you for life. I happen to be one of those losers, like the mayor was advocating, that quit in Boy Scouts. But when you reach the rank of an Eagle Scout, it's amazing because it teaches you how to achieve all those goals, and that's pretty much what life is about. So if you learn it at such a young age, and when it goes on the resume and out to the colleges and stuff, it's such a a great attribute to your future career. So I want to congratulate you, and I want to congratulate your dad, and also the leaders in Lacey Township, because we have such a high volume of Eagle Scouts, and that's because of the community. So I want to thank all the scouting leadership and the parents that really stick by it, because it's a commitment, and the family should be very proud. Thank you.
And Michael, we've all been involved in scouting at some point in our lives, but none of us have reached the plateau you reached. And, we're certainly very proud of you. I'm sure your family is extremely proud of you. And, we thank you for coming out tonight. We congratulate you and wish you the very best in the future. So, thank you. You don't have to stick around for all the other stuff if you don't want to. Thanks again. Okay, item number 2, electronics recycling.
Back in July, Mr. Parker and Rosemary Coffey, our recycling coordinator, had brought to your attention the electronics recycling. And when we're talking about electronic recycling, we're talking about computers and TVs being put at the curbside and us disposing of them properly through brick recycling. There's a cost involved to that, and that cost was being covered basically by us recycling the white goods, such as your washers, your stoves, and all of that, and we were getting paid for the tonnage of that. Well, we've seen a decrease in the amount of money that we're receiving for our white goods, basically because of scrappers coming and picking it up at curbside before our Meadowbrook carting company is able to go and get it. But in addition to that, Brick Recycling gave us a quote that they're going to charge per pound now for the e-recycling or electronic recycling of 7 cents a pound. Based on the amount that we've been disposing of in the past year, and Casey has done an estimate, and we're looking at a possibly $30,000 line item in the budget to pay for the electronics recycling, because you're no longer allowed to throw your TVs out at curbside. Yes, you can put them out at curbside. If they're bigger than 36 inches, we'll come and pick them up. Anything smaller than that, you're required to bring them back to recycling. So Casey is contemplating what he should do with it, and is there a possibility that the committee would anticipate putting an ordinance in place to charge a fee for the residents to dispose of them? They'd have to come and get a sticker saying that they paid for their electronic recycling, put the sticker on the product, and bring it either 1 back to recycling or 2 put it at curbside. So that's what he's wondering if we would consider proposing.
Mayor, can I comment on this, since I'm part of the recycling on the county and also on the Lacey Township level? The TVs are going up 15 cents per pound, and obviously we've banned electronics from going in the landfill, which is a good thing, especially when it comes to TVs. People that don't realize those old TV tubes have a lead element composed in the tube, and the recycling centers, it's a process, it's federally regulated, and obviously lead is toxic, so you don't want it in the landfills, but it does cost us money. And the 7 cents is on the positive side for the electronics, for the laptops and the towers we get, but this would be a 15-cent cost to us, and we try to stay in the positive directions with the revenue. Casey and Roe, they do a wonderful job with our recycling center, but the reason I'm mentioning is this because the white goods, that you have your refrigerators and your washing machines and your dryers. We have these salvage companies that are coming into our towns, and these contractors from other towns, and as soon as that goes out to the curbside, that's township property, because we use that as a revenue stream too, which bolsters our recycling center. So I would encourage and ask the mayor tonight that we try to because we do have a statute in place, is that correct, Veronica?
Yes, we do have an
So
ordinance.
that we enforce that through the police department, Mayor, that we could enforce that statute, that we don't have contractors taking those white goods, because it takes it out of the weight of our revenue stream, which we get credited through the county. Yes, it still goes, when it goes, say a contractor takes that property that's Lacey Township on curbside, and he takes it to a salvage yard, that salvage yard still reports that weight, but it goes to the county, and it dilutes us, because we could take credit for that weight, which we get from revenue sharing through the county. So it only makes sense. So what I suggest is that, we put this as a line item, but at the same time, we try to enforce the loss of the 50% of the white goods, which he calculates. And he also, Casey told me that we actually fill up a dumpster in 2 weeks with TVs. So you can see, and recycling, we all understand what that does. We want to keep it out of the landfill. When we do that, that saves the taxpayer money with tipping fees, and plus the environmental impact, which I explained with the lead. It's just the correct thing to do. So it's a balancing act, and like I said, I want to thank Casey and Roe for doing a great job. Rose Coffey is our recycling coordinator, but I make a suggestion suggestion that it comes, we make a line item out of the budget and try to make it up through the enforcement of the white goods. So that would be my suggestion, because to try to manage it any other way and try to, charge it as a tax, to me, would be kind of hard to do.
Yeah, the ordinance I provided was from Ware Town, and they were charging for the Freon certification for removals from, refrigerators and stuff like that, and they were
Right.
charging $10 in the propane tank, so.
It just gets kind of complicated.
It does.
Well, the
Because
problem
then
is-
you're gonna have people illegally dumping.
That's the problem, you can have the Pinelands just loaded up with TVs
Yes.
going down Lacey Road, and that's, it's gonna cost us something, but I think you're right, we have to try and maybe look at the, appliance, maybe it's another way to tackle it with Meadowbrook.
Right, and make up that revenue on the loss of the 50% with the white goods, and therefore it would null out the
Yeah.
line item in the budget, and then see how that works out. And, the neighbors can also call if they see a contractor pick it up, take to their license plate number and identify the truck, and then we'll do the enforcement, and we'll start it, and the word will spread around that we're enforcing our statute. Other towns have done it, and that's how they maintain their recycling revenue, and that's something prudent that we need to do here in Lacey Township. That's a suggestion that I have.
Anyone else on the committee? Well, let's go back and talk to Casey and the chief, and, we'll address it before we come budget time for next year. Okay, number 3, best practices worksheet.
Okay, annually, the chief financial officer and myself are required to submit what's known as the best practices worksheet, where they ask various different questions as to the workings of the municipality and the various items that we do, and we are then required to let the governing body know the submission of our answers. They are enclosed here, and how we answered. Now, obviously, if you don't score in a certain category, you can lose part of your state funding, so you have to score at a certain ranking. We scored at 84%, which, no, we didn't score at 84%, did we? We didn't lose any of our state funding, I know that, because the way, 41 to 50 answers, you still get 100% of your state funding, no penalty. 33 to 40 is 80%, but we scored in the 41 to 50 at the 100%, so we don't lose any of our state funding because we're over the 80%. So I don't know if anybody had any questions about the best practices checklist or anything that we answered here.
Any questions? Seeing none. Item number 4, request to post signs, Lacey Girls Softball.
Lacey Girls Softball is having their annual registration next week, and they want to post signs throughout the community announcing the upcoming registration at the Recreation Office. Motion?
Everyone okay with that?
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Yay, nay?
Any add-ons?
I have no add-ons.
Okay, item number 5, resolution 2014-257, authorizing the convening of an executive session.
Resolution of Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, authorizing convening an executive session to discuss anticipated pending litigation.
Have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Kennis?
Yes.
Mr. Most?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mayor Quinn.
Yes.
Motion to adjourn?
Move it.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? We'll be back shortly, folks.